on his shoes from the wind got in. Leave that one. Now, the Charlie Jones Award for Champion Jockey, Master of a Grueling Trade.
After comfortably leading the standings for most of 2013, he fell victim to a broken wrist and missed out on what was perceivably his first local riders title. The following year, his fortunes were less rewarding, but that may have only given his competition a false sense of security going into the next year. It wasn't a walkover though, as the opposition made him work for every bit of his worth to secure the title. In fact, the victory was only clinched on the final day of the year when he steered Kit back to her maiden win of 1,100 meters. So tight was the competition that one win separated the top three riders and determined the outcome. But it was the victor's impressive win rate of 25% and his $455,000 in earnings that placed him as unquestionably the year's best jockey.
Towards the corner, they turn for home. A furlong and a half to go out in the middle of the track on the outside. Jake Sam under 111 pounds and Ricky Walker on the inside. Jonas Go fighting back. It lies between these two. Jake Sam and Jonas Go. Jake Sam and Jonas Go. Jake Sam up by a head. Jonas Go weakened on the inside. Jake Sam for the monumental victory under Ricky Walker. Corner, they're going to straighten up the turn for him. A furlong and a half to go. On the outside is Lucky Me. Kavanagh traveling desperately on the outside against the rail. In one is a beaten horse, but it is Lucky Me and Kavanagh surging with every stride. It is Lucky Me and Kavanagh. Lucky Me, Kavanagh. Lucky Me, Kavanagh will not be denied today. Lucky Me at the wire.
Lucky Luther. That's the $100 horse, folks. Earning his first jockey's title here in Barbados, the Charlie Jones Award for Champion Jockey of 2015 goes to Mr. Ricky Walcott. Well done, Ricky. Yeah, Jake Sam, one shot wonder. Had to be that what he put up, like it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the Sir John Chandler Award for Champion Breeder, the genetic engineer. I gone too far? Oh, apprentice. No, Beckles got off my horse for the next race. We've got enough of this subject altogether.
I'm drinking.
Go home now, your wife is calling. Yeah, she's calling. Somebody's breaking in. The Byron Clark Award for Champion Apprentice. Useful talent acknowledged, and in this case, definitely.
This was another close category. Just 2 wins and $589 in earnings separated the winner from the runner-up. But it was all that this apprentice needed to secure his first apprentice championship. Formerly associated with the Aisha Syndicate and trainer Richard Dean, the youngster has now come of age as a freelance rider. Last year, he booted home 11 smart winners for the connections of 8 different stables, and his mounts earned just over $112,000 during the year.
Earning his flanking on the outside is Danny Crane comes to have a chance. Favorite Cat comes out once again. It is Favorite Cat and Danny Crane. Favorite Cat, Danny Crane dancing with the stars is closing, and also running on the spot is Johnny Sadboy on the inside. Here comes Dancing with the Stars, and Swoop Show and gets an easy victory.
Fairy Valley doesn't answer. White on the outside. Here's Easter Monday with a grand red, and there are no more turns. And Easter Monday has come to the front. On the inside, Double No Memory Lane is closing. Here's Darren David White on the outside. It's Easter Monday on the right hand drive on the outside. Here's Darren David. But Easter Monday's going to get home. Reports home now. Just very close indeed, though.
Whoa, Dean, easy. Ladies and gentlemen, earning his first rider's title in 2015, we present the Byron Clark Award for Champion Apprentice to the walk-in signboard or billboard, Mr. Jarrell Beckles. God forbid he ever has to get glasses, I guarantee he'll have them tattooed on his eyes as well. The Sir John Chandler Award for Champion Breeder, the genetic engineer of equine athletes.
Yet another championship for this fine breeder.
On that day, folks, when Savonga won, the only people who didn't know that Sir Charles Bradley are people who were down in St. Vincent, St. Kitts, or St. Lucia. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sir John Chandler Award for Champion Breeder of 2015 goes to Sir Charles Williams. Not gonna bite, Kev. She just celebrated 50 years of marriage to my father. Don't know how he stood there so long. But thank God it did, because it gets a little messy when they get that old. The Happy Boy Award for Champion Sire, the male influence. Well, I would hope he's a male influence if he's a sire, or a champion one at that, in shaping the breed. The names of those stallions credited with sustaining the growth and development of the local thoroughbred are etched in the history of this award. Stallions like Nosferatu, Bandsman and Happy Boy come to mind. Without having to go any further, registered his 5th championship and emphasise his place as one of Barbados' most influential sires on the local breed, we salute our champion sire, Janak, in this Happy Boy Award. Dr. Trevor King. Ferry Award, to be precise, where successful families are created. The world's greatest families owe much of their esteemed status to female genetic strength. All right, you don't get too powerful. A brief assessment of the previous winners of this award reveals the names of broodmares synonymous with breeding, shaping accomplishments. Prolific stakes producers whose influence have and will continue to design the progression of the Barbados bred racehorse. Some such names include Rear Dove, Coup, Noble Horse, Peace Token, Rebound, and in more recent times, the excellent Signorina. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 Champion Broodmare Award is presented in honor of Spa Ferry to the connections of Poetic Justice. Here come the Mosley clan. I see another one up here. I'm not sure who's going to win, though, because they don't tell me nothing. They say my mouth too large. And they're not far wrong. Be Frank Watkins, and anybody who knew Frank Watkins, he was a phenomenal photographer. I think Frank started at the Garrison when they used to have the powder. You hear poof, and it would go up. Capturing each exciting moment one shot at a time. It takes skill, a keen eye, nerves of steel, and a lot of luck in some cases to maintain composure in the face of excitement when capturing the raw power of the thoroughbred in action. Of recent, a host of new equine photographers have come to the fore, capturing unforgettable moments in their lenses and taking this aspect of documenting our sport to a new level. We recognize their talent with a display of 6 photographs followed by the selection of one to be voted the best racing photograph of 2015. The nominees for 2015's best racing photograph are Miss Raquel Stout, Mr. Richard Seal, Mr. Junior Shotterboss Franklin, Mrs. Gail Seal. Now that is a shot. And Mr. Trevor Lucas. Ladies and gentlemen, the Frank Watkins Award for Photographer of the Year goes to Junior. Yeah. You messed me up 16 times so far. Mr. Richard Seal. Let's see that picture. Yep. You see him, the lucky charm? Another one of my horses involved. That's right, Drake, isn't it? Easy, big boy. Our next award presented in the name of an outstanding lady and a very hard worker, among others. The Claire Melville Award for Outstanding Service to the Racing Industry, acknowledging the unwavering contribution of a deserving soul.
This year's Claire Melville Award goes to a well-known lady who has effectively served our industry in numerous roles, Miss Deborah Hughes. Debbie, as she was affectionately known, has been involved with horses for over 50 years. She started riding as a little girl with her uncle, Sammy Chandler, who owned the first riding school catering to tourists. Under her uncle's tutelage, she was to become a national show jumping champion and represented Barbados many times, both at home and abroad. Like many Barbadians of her age, Debbie attended race meetings at the Garrison while growing up, as much for the racing as the social event. Her involvement in racing, though, was something of a chance occurrence. She was working at Angela and Keith Melville's Little Bentley stables when they decided to try returning a horse called Gold Mine from the riding school to the racetrack. The Barbados Turf Club had scheduled an amateur race, and with the help of the late Penny Dean, one of the first female trainers in Barbados, they began preparing the horse for the race. The perception was that if the gelding could carry Debbie around the Garrison for 5 furlongs, then he was good enough to race. Everything went well, except Goldmine didn't win the race. However, to Debbie's benefit, she could at least say she knows what it feels like to be a jockey, and Goldmine went on to win several races. As time went on, she started to get more involved in several aspects of racing. She was assistant clerk of the scales to Smirky Blades before taking over his role fully when he retired. Whenever a patrol judge was absent, she would fill in on the track. She worked at the gates with John Armstrong and combined her love of photography and racing by helping Frank Watkins in the photo finish room when it was then on the bandstand in the middle of the parade ring. From then, she eventually took out a trainer's license with the club and would ultimately be associated with breeding and training several good winners. During this time, she became a founding member of the Barbados Thoroughbred Breeders Association and was its first secretary. She also single-handedly produced 3 annual Barbados Racing Review magazines that were well received by the industry. Her high-growth stud at Neil's was also a nursery for jockeys like Anderson Tom Trotman and the brothers Paul and Jason Leacock. Coincidentally, she gave Ricardo Lopez his first win on a little mare called Heidi, and as well his 100th winner on a homebred called Whispering. However, it is probably her role as general manager and secretary of the Barbados Turf Club that Debbie has had the greatest impact on the racing industry. She was the first female secretary of the club and drafted the new rules of the Barbados Stud Book when the Barbados Turf Club changed jurisdiction to the Jockey Club Stud Book. She also drafted new conditions for the Sandy Lane Gold Cup and advertised the race conditions in the Daily Racing Form and Equibase in an effort to revive interest in the race through increased foreign participation. Apart from being the first female to head a turf club in the Caribbean, Miss Hughes was also the first female handicapper and steward of the Barbados Turf Club. On nights like tonight, we owe her our gratitude as she sat on the committee that conceived these annual awards. Include a stint of commentating races, and her well-rounded contribution then becomes truly apparent. Although she is no longer a part of the horse racing world, she has many happy memories of training and breeding and still looks after her beloved horse Whispering and 2 of his younger siblings every day. So with that, we proudly present the Claire Melville Award to Miss Debbie Hughes for her outstanding contribution to horse racing in Barbados.
Ladies and gentlemen, Debbie is out doing a little bit of jet setting, and I think she'd be chuffed to know that she's been titled as Mrs. Debbie Hughes now. But her uncle, Jeffrey Chandler, renowned in his own right, is up to receive the trophy for Debbie. You got to tell Jeff, you got to send a message to Debbie and congratulate her. Now she's married.
Her love for the sport introduced her to another love, a former jockey and now trainer to whom she eventually married. This union, now 21 years, served to pique her interest in the sport even more. Rosette Pierce started working for the Barbados Turf Club when she was asked to assist with human resources and marketing. It was a learn-on-the-job kind of situation, and one which provided a stepping stone to her current role of Secretary and CEO of the Barbados Turf Club. It was unanimously agreed by the Barbados Turf Club Board of Directors that Rosette is a most deserving recipient of this award. She has been entrusted with the good standing of the Barbados Turf Club's business and effectively undertakes her role at the helm of the BTC's affairs. Her loyalty goes beyond that just of an employee, and daily she deals with a plethora of difficult and sometimes unreasonable people while maintaining enough composure to function successfully. Her calm demeanor is seen time and again to have the effect of pouring oil on troubled waters. She works long and unsociable hours, public holidays, and the like to ensure racing proceeds in an orderly fashion. Her daily contribution to the industry is profound, and it would present a grave loss should she decide one day that enough is enough. The chance of finding a suitable replacement with her level of skill and energy is next to none. Many of you don't know it and will probably never guess, but she dislikes public speaking at interviews. The spotlight is not where she prefers to be, yet she's able to flawlessly execute when these tasks are necessary. But don't worry, she'll be jumping at such opportunities when we are through with her. Her achievements to date often go unheralded. The fruits of her behind-the-scenes labor are enjoyed by everyone, but the appreciation for the effort it required is seldom forthcoming. One such thing is the Winter's Jockeys Challenge, a concept that Mrs. Pierce almost single-handedly reintroduced to racing. She's also responsible for not only maintaining attendance at the battle handle, but increasing it in 2015. Rosette admits that this, along with seeing how the industry has progressed over the years, are the two main highlights of her tenure thus far. Her satisfaction lies in knowing that the club can currently enjoy some level of profitability through her efforts. With every high must come a low, and one that is most troubling is her disappointment in the lack of quality in the current racing stock. Her belief is it will impact heavily on the BCBA, and something must be done about it, and soon. Rosette rightfully commands an appreciable level of respect from employees, owners, trainers, jockeys, and grooms alike by the very nature of her dedication and loyalty to her duties in the position she holds. I ask you all to stop and think for a moment. When, if ever, have you witnessed a selfish demand, unreasonable approach to any situation, or even the slightest taint of disrespect from Rosette? Her integrity is unquestionable.
Amen. I think that's the second time this week I had to say that. In the words of a prominent BDC director, the power of recognition from your peers cannot be bought. It has to be earned. Y'all heard that? Earned. And no one can be more noteworthy of this honor but Mrs. Rosette Pierce, the 2015 recipient of the Barbados Turf Club Directors Award.
Good girl.
Hey, what are you encouraging? You know, fit people like the mirrors are ready. Rosette, would like to say a few words? You sure? Richly deserved and richly rewarded. The BTBA Special Award.
For BTBA Special Award winner, Fun was riding his favorite pony from Walker, St. George, to Bridgetown to show him off at the tender age of 10. But as he got older, George DeVere Davis would embark on a more serious and important form of horseplay. During his days of playing polo, Mr. Davis met and became friends with a gentleman named Lord Vestey, and someday indicated to him that he wanted to get involved in horses on a bigger scale. Lord Vestey introduced him to Mr. Parker Bowles, who in turn put him on to the late Paddy Prendergast, an Irish racehorse trainer. One evening while having dinner with Mr. Prendergast, Vere, as he's commonly known, spoke of his desire to own racehorses. His wife Barbara was never keen on the idea and made her position absolutely clear in the only way a wife can. Being the very clever man that he was, Mr. Prendergast said, and I quote, "Don't worry, I will send you a mare foal, and when the foal is born, your wife is going to like it so much she isn't going to want you to sell it." So said, so done. In 1976, Mr. Prendergast sent an Irish bred named La Paloma to Barbados. This was the start of the Bird family, which is today one of the most prolific and successful families in the local studbook. In utero was Rare Dove, the eventual dam of Derby winner Coolbird, who became the winningest horse and second highest money earner in local racing history. She then followed up with notable top creoles such as Barbie Dove, Son of a Dove, Wings of a Dove, Ginger Dove, and so on. After Rare Dove was Another Dove, the mare responsible for another of his Derby winners in Obadove, and Blackbird herself in third in the marquee event for 3-year-olds, and dam of the talented Jewel Classic winner Nikita. The number of Derby winners tracing their genetic roots to the Bird family is impressive. La Paloma also produced another legend in Flying Dove. True to form, Flying Dove then gave Mr. Davis's Thoroughbreds family the distinct fate of also producing the next highest money earner in Barbados' racing history, a gelding called Zoom. Add to that the Gold Cup third meteorite, champion 2-year-old Heaven Sent, and Derby Place Gather first edition, and one can see the true measure of success in this family. Once bitten by the bug, it was all over. In 1978, Mr. Prendergast had bought Stylish Run out of Ireland. She ran in 1979 and later produced Happy Style, another Derby winner, and several other good horses here and in Trinidad. Happy Style went on to have More Style, a winner of many races 2A class. Her on race filly In Style became the dam of Wild Style, a champion 2-year-old in 2004. There was also Super Style, winner of the Tanglewood Stakes on Gold Cup Day. Her next claim to fame was then Rebound, herself a solid producer of outstanding performers. Her best today is no doubt the popular Bounce Back, a multiple champion. While Vair's friendship with Mr. Prendergast remained strong, he went on to buy and breed other horses on his own, and is now marking 40 years. Horses like his Newmarket purchased Lady Jasmine come to mind. A talented runner herself, she produced amazing athletes like the champion 3-year-old Credit Note, Jazz Girl, who was the dam of Triple Crown winner and Horse of the Year from 2006, Zook, as well as Vandross, Goldmine, and Jasmine. Then there was D Major, credited with being the only horse to defeat the mighty Inchetadas as a 2-year-old. Another Davis purchase from Newmarket was China Silk, dam of one of tonight's nominees, Joshua, a popular 8-time winner and 2016 Tanglewood Stakes contender. Bear still believes his success in the breeding barn can be summed up to simply being, quote, "It is the luck of the draw." Understandably, many could argue otherwise, for there must be some other well-guarded secret to his immense success. He's a strong advocate for importing English blood into Barbados, as it has been widely proven to be successful here. This is evidenced by his comments about the lack of quality in the racing stock. He believes that too many inferior bred colts are being imported from the American sales, with the result being a disproportionate ratio involving too many poorly bred stallions to not enough well-bred mares. He hopes that this trend can continue sooner rather than later. Breeding a Gold Cup winner still eludes him, and it is clear that Veer's passion for the thoroughbred and relentless pursuit for the next best thing has not waned. He defied his loving wife's best efforts and embraced his fervor for breeding and racing them to this very day, and assures that he would do anything he can to prevent this sport from dying. Veer fondly recounts that his wife has kept the reins tight on him over the years. He says, "Barbara would remind me of the feed bill every day, but don't mind, she's been very supportive." I know most racing men in here tonight would agree, that's a good wife. Horse racing in Barbados, and in particular the local thoroughbred, is heavily indebted to George de Vere Davis, and the BTBA recognizes that we are hard-pressed to ever find another to match his accomplishments and support.
Folks, they say that at the Newmarket sales, anybody standing near to Vere will be hearing this English accent, and they realised it was the Queen. He was choking, he pound notes in his pocket so hard. The Queen hollered for, "Let me go, let me go." But don't mind. Ladies and gentlemen, for his monumental contribution to thoroughbred breeding in Barbados for many years, and he has one of the longest names you could ever think of too. He was named like real high aristocratic when he was good. The BTBA presents his 2015 special award to Mr. George de Vere Clifford Carlin, Seamus Augustus Davis. He's also an accomplished sire of 5 offspring, so he hasn't done badly. Y'all don't want him to hug too? Well done, Mr. Davis. Many of his offspring are at my farm, so hopefully we'll get the same kind of luck in some form or fashion. Mr. Odell, we thank you. At this point, I'm going to invite the CEO of the National Sports Council, Mr. Jerry Blenman, to give his address. And after that, we'll ask Mr. Odell to come back up, and they will present together. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Blenman.
Good evening, Master of Ceremonies, Sir David Seal, who I know is absent from us this evening, but we recognize his contribution as President of the Barbados Turf Club. Mr. Peter Odell, Chairman of the Barbados Thoroughbred Breeders Association. Mrs. Rosetta Pierce, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Turf Club, and congratulations on your award this evening, well-deserved award. Members of the organizing committee of the annual Garson Turf Awards cocktail function, owners, breeders, nominees, awardees, sponsors, representatives of the media, it is indeed an honor to be here with you this evening. And I am delighted really to have accepted the invitation to be with you for the just concluded 2015 season of the annual Garson races, and indeed the culmination with this Turf Awards. And thank you for what I believe has been an excellent year of horse sport racing in Barbados. I wish also to convey greetings and the very best of regards from the Honourable Stephen Lashley, MP and Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, who unavoidably could not be with us this evening and has asked that I give remarks on his behalf. It is further my honour to salute the Barbados Turf Club on the attainment of 110 years, celebrating 110 years. Am I correct about that? 110 years. And indeed, on your wide-ranging achievements as one of the very formidable and well-managed sporting associations in Barbados. Congratulations to you on attaining 110 years. This, we are well aware, required unreserved commitment and the careful crafting of meaningful strategies focused on the progressing of the sport of horse racing in and beyond Barbados. Actually, this celebration signals an achievement of importance to the positioning and development of sports in Barbados, and more particularly is a fine example of the synchronization of foresight, actualization of collective planning, and exemplification of harmonized management, which we want to congratulate you on. 11 decades is a long time. Kudos to the founders. Kudos to those who preserved over the years the efforts of the founders. And kudos to you who have continued to gallop with a particular distinctiveness to preserve the sport of horse racing in Barbados while enriching our heritage as a sporting nation. I am well advised that you are on the threshold of a very important partnership between the Barbados Turf Club and the China Horse Racing Club that will see 2 Chinese jockeys being attached to the BTC for the next 11 months. I'm also reliably advised that these riders will be making their debut on the 5th of March in the upcoming prestigious Sandy Lane Barbados Gold Cup, and I consider this to be quite an achievement again. This too is remarkable, and I'm also thrilled to applaud this initiative, which in many ways confirms the tenacity and vision of your current leadership to reinforce the growing global strength of Barbados' participation in sports. In this regard, I'm pleased to also applaud the achievements of our horse racing greats who've been serving in international markets with distinction. Your accomplishments as Barbadian ambassadors continue to be an inspiration to many, and more particularly as you leave indelible marks across the globe, marks which we know will not be easily erased. Thank you for your contributions to our nation and inspiring others, especially our youth, to pursue excellence. The Ministry of Sports, Culture and Youth, and indeed the National Sports Council, continue to remain committed to pursuing opportunities of collaboration with you and with the intent of preserving the rich legacy of sports in Barbados. I wish to encourage you to stay focused, stay strong, that this championship has on 110 previous occasions assembled some of the most talented of competitors in the sport of horse racing on this island is without doubt unquestionable. In fact, assembled among us, I believe, this evening are world-class sportspersons, world-class groomers, world-class turf managers, world-class administrators that have already set the stage for a new dispensation of sports development in Barbados. I challenge all, transcend the normal, pursue excellence, commit to setting in motion a blazing trail as you, especially at the Turf Club, approach the 111th furlong. Thank you, and best regards for a successful 2016.
Well, folks, Mr. Blenheim, some of those words you used would have made our former Prime Minister, Sir Lloyd, proud. Only he could get those words pronounced as pretty as you. Now sit down, we're not finished yet. We'll now invite Mr. Peter Odell and Mr. Blenheim on stage. I told you all that Nancy was calling for Nazi, just didn't want anybody to know. Our horse of the year, the ultimate year-end prize for thoroughbred champions, the most coveted year-end prize for equine athletes, a means of recognizing the ultimate racing star for entertaining us with displays of greatness throughout the year. It's awarded to the champion which makes a profound impact on racing in a given year by virtue of outstanding feats, giving examples of championship qualities at the highest level, and is often the most dominant force in racing. The nominees for 2015 Horses of the Year are Poetic License.
She was simply scintillating for 2 seasons in winning 5 races, and she led all others in earnings.
Was a corner in the 2015 Massey United Insurance Derby, and it is Poetic License clear by 3.5. Donico did it sailing, switched towards the outside this 2-horse race, and it is Poetic License. Donico did it coming, Poetic License, and Donico did it. Poetic License by a length and a half. Donico did it to try desperately on the outside. One last surge is not going to be enough. Poetic License hangs on by a half a length to win the race. A magnificent ride by Ricky Walker.
And folks, the second nominee, since 2013, he has finished first or second in each of his 10 starts actually in 2015. Sirius Black.
He's proved himself to be a top-class horse time and time again, and he finished first or second in each of his 9 starts, bar 1 in 2015.
And it shared our venture in front. The dog still not asking a question. On the outside here is Sirius Black on the right-hand drive. It's shared our venture on the inside, on the outside, Sirius Black. Shared Adventure now gets encouragement and is asked to go on. Sirius Black will not go away. Shared Adventure, Sirius Black. Shared Adventure, Sirius Black. Sirius Black starts to draw away and wins it now. But
folks, according to Dean Springer and according to my sheet, there are no more turns, as this is the last award before you all can eat. Our champion horse of 2015 goes to none other than Sirius Black. Jump on the table behind Ricky. Sirius Black is hoping to get the big, prestigious Tanglewood Trophy next Saturday, March the 5th. Wish him the best of luck. Obviously, nobody was breaking in, as is back.
David, turn the horse.
Don't curse, Nazi. There's still room in the fine fund.